The NBA season hasn't even cooled off yet, and behind the scenes, things are already heating up. The 2025 free agency period is approaching fast, and among all the teams planning bold moves, one stands out: the Golden State Warriors. With only 2 days left before the official opening of free agency, the Warriors are positioning themselves to be one of the main players in the market, and all signs suggest they won't be just spectators. They want to act. With some roster pieces still undecided and others under heavy internal debate, the franchise is preparing for yet another roster shakeup, aiming to reclaim its dominance in the West. Even before the offseason officially kicks off, one name has been dominating the conversations: Jonathan Kuminga. The young forward, a high-value draft pick, is once again at the center of trade rumors. In recent days, the buzz surrounding a potential deal involving Kuminga has intensified. And this time, the noise is coming straight from South Florida. Yes, the Miami Heat have firmly entered the picture. According to recent reports from Shams Charania, after the NBA draft, in which the Warriors selected Kasparas Jakusionis with the 20th overall pick, a source indicated that the Heat could be the ideal landing spot for Kuminga. This marks the first time this offseason that Kuminga has been directly linked to the Miami Heat by a top-tier insider. Prior to this, speculation came from names like Brett Siegel and Michael Scotto, journalists not as tied to the mainstream but closely following behind-the-scenes developments. The consensus? There is mutual interest, and this is far from just speculation. Kuminga represents raw potential, a promise not yet fully realized, but one that could explode in the right hands. And the Heat system, known for maximizing versatile, hungry athletes, appears to be a strong fit. Tactically and development-wise, the fit makes sense. But is the deal beneficial for both sides? Zach Lowe, one of the NBA's most respected voices in tactical analysis, indirectly suggested that Miami should pursue a young talent like Kuminga instead of targeting veterans such as DeMar DeRozan. He even said, "All bets are off with the Kings," and followed with a jab. Anyone want DeRozan? For Lowe, Kuminga's youth and growth ceiling are more valuable than the immediate return DeRozan offers. This further reinforces the idea that there's real substance behind the Kuminga to Miami chatter. But let's look deeper. From Golden State's perspective, the return for Kuminga might be limited. As a restricted free agent, Kuminga can sign an offer sheet with any team, and the Warriors would have the right to match it or orchestrate a trade. However, in such a scenario, the team can only receive up to 50% of the new contract's value in salaries. If Kuminga signs for $25 million annually, for instance, the Warriors could only take back up to $12.5 million in salaries. And looking at Miami's current roster, few names are truly enticing in that range. Kyle Anderson, a veteran with little room for growth. Haywood Highsmith, a solid defender but limited offensively. Nikola Jovic, the Heat have already refused to include him in bigger trade talks like the one for Kevin Durant. Jaime Jaquez Jr. Despite a promising start, he couldn't maintain his impact for long. Perhaps in a creative three-team deal, Jaquez could be included alongside Moses Moody, allowing the Warriors to target a better fit, possibly even bringing back Andrew Wiggins. Yes, some dream of Wiggins' return. Imagine the narrative. After being traded for a star, Wiggins returns to the Bay Area to rekindle the old chemistry with the veterans, a scenario that, while unlikely, certainly stirs curiosity. The question is whether Miami would give up enough assets to make it happen, and if the Warriors truly see value in bringing back a player who has had an up-and-down tenure with the team. Still, despite all these scenarios being discussed, Miami remains the favorite, not just because of the rumors, but also because of actual behind-the-scenes movement. Other teams have shown up as potential suitors, but none seem as engaged as the Heat. The Chicago Bulls, for instance, could offer something interesting. Kobe White is a name that would certainly hold value for the Warriors, especially due to his playmaking and shooting ability. But with the Bulls selecting promising forward Noah Clowney in the draft, their interest in Kuminga may have waned. Besides, Nikola Vucevic doesn't fit the equation. Another team that entered the conversation was the Sacramento Kings. Sam Amick mentioned that the team is monitoring Kuminga's situation. However, no concrete offer has surfaced, and the general impression is that Sacramento is unwilling to part with major assets for him. That's why Miami remains the top possible destination. For the Warriors, the question isn't just whether Kuminga should be traded, it's how to do it without squandering his value. 4 years after his arrival, the fit has never been truly seamless. There's no doubt about the talent. But the question remains, will that talent bloom within the Warriors' system, or does he need a new environment to reach his peak? And there's a cruel logic in timing. The clock is ticking for the core players. It makes little sense to waste the final elite years of Curry, Green, and others trying to figure out if Kuminga will become an all-star. For the Warriors to return to being a 60-win contender, the best move might be to let Kuminga go and chase that breakout elsewhere. Of course, nothing is certain. The latest rumors suggest there's still a chance Kuminga stays. Not necessarily because the front office is convinced, but perhaps because no compelling offers have arrived. The Warriors still believe in extracting value, whether by keeping him for another year of development or by setting up a more attractive trade down the road. For now, the situation is balanced. Half of the insiders predict an imminent departure. The other half see a contract extension, at least until the start of the 2025-26 season. And what about you? What do you think? Will Kuminga stay? Or is the next time he steps on the court going to be in a Heat uniform? While the ongoing negotiations around Jonathan Kuminga remain the primary focus, the Warriors have also made quiet moves in the 2025 NBA draft. Despite not holding any first-round picks, aside from the previously mentioned 20th overall selection used on Jakushiones, the franchise opted for second-round talents like Toohey and Will Richard, aiming to add youth, versatility, and, most importantly, cost-effectiveness to the roster. Toohey is an Australian forward who plays solidly in both the 3 and 4 positions. Mike Dunleavy was straightforward when commenting on his selection. In our system, he fits well as a versatile 4. He can defend multiple positions, is effective in transition, forcing turnovers and pushing the pace. He reads the game better than most, but he's not outstanding in any specific area. He's solid all around. This kind of profile has become increasingly valuable for teams that prioritize ball movement and team defense. Coming from the NBL, a league that is already more physical and tactical, Toohey enters the NBA a step ahead of the traditional NCAA rookies. Will Richard, on the other hand, brings a slightly different profile. With a wingspan that exceeds expectations for his height, he's a natural defender, the kind that frustrates any ball handler and has the potential to guard multiple positions. Dunleavy described him as a two-way player, defends well and shoots efficiently. Coming from a strong college program, Richard possesses solid fundamentals and a team-first mentality. And here's where an intriguing possibility arises. Could he eventually take Moses Moody's spot? The comparison isn't far-fetched. Both are wings with a reliable shot, defensive awareness, and room for growth. But if Richard proves to be more consistent, especially from three-point range and in tactical discipline, the Warriors might find in him a cheaper and perhaps even more dependable option for the near future. That internal battle could be one of the most fascinating storylines of the preseason. And if Dunleavy is already considering it, it's because the competition for minutes is wide open. No one has a guaranteed seat. In the press conference, Dunleavy also made it clear that the focus isn't solely on the draft. We're going to incorporate these pieces into the roster, but the priority is free agency, he stated. And when a general manager is that blunt, it's safe to expect bold moves. Currently, the Warriors have 3 main tools to strengthen their roster in the market. The non-taxpayer mid-level exception, worth around $14.1 million, the biannual exception of $5.1 million, and a trade exception of $8.8 million. Each comes with different levels of flexibility and impact on the salary cap. The mid-level, for example, could trigger the hard cap, which limits other operations, but allows the team to bring in a meaningful contributor. Georges Niang is one name reportedly on the radar, a consistent shooter who can come off the bench and make an immediate impact. Beyond these options, the Warriors can still utilize minimum contracts and second-round players as trade chips or for complementary rotation roles. And this is where it gets interesting. The selections of Toohey and Will Richard weren't just technical decisions. They also hold market value. A rookie with a strong summer league performance could quickly become a desirable asset in a bigger trade. Returning to the central issue, Jonathan Kuminga. Dunleavy addressed the situation with transparency. We want to resolve this as soon as possible. We know restricted free agents tend to take time, but we're trying to speed that up. He even joked, hopefully it won't drag on until the 10th, because I might be on vacation. Behind the laughter, an uncomfortable truth. The longer it takes, the harder it becomes to find the right fit. And the biggest obstacle may not be technical, it might be political. Joe Lacob, the team's owner, is a vocal supporter of Kuminga. He has publicly stated that it would be difficult not to match any offer made to the young forward. The problem is that this could lead to a clash of strategies. Dunleavy appears willing to take a more pragmatic approach. If Kuminga no longer fits the plan, it might be time to move on. Lacob, on the other hand, might prefer to preserve the investment and potential, even if it complicates the immediate roster construction. Dunleavy was candid. At the end of the day, it's Kuminga's call. He's the one who's going to sign, or not, the contract. And that's more revealing than it may seem. If the player truly wants to stay, he'll have to accept the role and context the franchise is offering. Otherwise, both sides will have to accept the end of this promising partnership before it becomes a bigger problem in the locker room. It's worth remembering. In recent months, Kuminga showed significant growth. He had great moments during the regular season and also in the playoffs, particularly in the series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This reignited hope that maybe, with some patience, he could become what the team envisioned. But does the franchise still have that kind of time? And is Kuminga willing to wait? The timing is delicate. The market is shifting. The first few days of free agency could determine outcomes and seal decisions. And with few offers for Kuminga so far, his staying might happen not out of conviction, but out of lack of alternatives. And that, in itself, creates tension. Neither side seems fully convinced they want to stay together, but neither wants to separate for just anything. And in this context, the risk is clear. Kicking the can down the road, keeping Kuminga for another season, watching him fight for minutes, creating friction in a roster that needs harmony, and then reaching the February trade deadline with the same lingering question, what do we do with him? It might be wiser to solve it now. Trade him while his value is still high. Invest in a player who can contribute to the roster immediately. Find a team willing to pay not just for the talent, but for the long-term project. And if it's not the Heat, perhaps a team like the Bulls, Kings, or even a surprise contender might emerge behind the scenes with a compelling offer. But for that to happen, what's needed is decisiveness, clarity, direction, something the Warriors always had during their glory years, but now seem to be rediscovering in this new phase. The first name that caught everyone's attention was L.J. Crier, a point guard who played at Houston and knows what it's like to win at the highest level. He was a national champion with Baylor in his freshman year. Crier joins on an Exhibit 10 contract, which means he'll be closely evaluated both as a candidate for the main team and as a potential key piece for the G League affiliate. Crier is an experienced player by college standards, with a mature mindset and a playing style that blends shooting precision with sharp offensive reading. Last season, he stood out with an impressive 42% shooting from three-point range, even while averaging 7.5 attempts per game. He's also a committed defender, with solid game awareness and a combative attitude, even if he's not the most athletic player at his position. What stands out most about his profile is consistency. He's not just a scoring guard, he's someone who understands the game's pace, doesn't force plays, and knows how to control the offense. Even with a modest stature and a physique below the NBA ideal, his college resume and leadership on the court make him an intriguing bet. It's not an exaggeration to say Crier could become the brain of the Warriors' summer squad. The Golden State Warriors have always had a special talent for standing out, not only through their on-court performance, but also in how they build their identity and connect with fans. The potential arrival of Sotto to the roster wouldn't just be a technical reinforcement, but a strategic move that could expand the franchise's global influence, connecting different cultures and markets around the world. With a massive fan base in the Philippines, where he is seen as a sports icon, Sotto could be the bridge that tightens the bonds between the NBA and millions of Asian fans. His presence on the Warriors could elevate the team's popularity in Asia, especially in the Philippines, a country where basketball is more than just a sport. It's a true national passion. This move would create a new wave of dedicated fans, increasing engagement and further strengthening the Warriors' brand. Beyond the direct impact on the Filipino community, Sotto's arrival could further expand the franchise's reach in international markets. The Warriors have always known how to turn their on-court success into a globally recognized brand, and Sotto could be an essential piece to drive this expansion. With a growing presence in Asia, the team could explore new commercial and strategic opportunities, solidifying their position as one of the most influential franchises in the NBA. But Sotto's impact goes far beyond marketing and the global expansion of the Warriors brand. He has become an inspiration to thousands of young athletes, especially in the Philippines, and his journey proves that basketball can be a powerful tool for change and opportunity. His path shows that with dedication and effort, it's possible to rise from less favorable circumstances and carve out a space among the best in the world. For the new generations, Sotto's rise represents more than just a distant dream. He is the living proof that talent and hard work can overcome barriers. Many young people look up to him and see not just a promising player, but an example of perseverance and courage. Someone who decided to face greater challenges and proved that he can compete at the highest level. If incorporated into the Warriors roster, would have the opportunity to further develop his skills in an environment that values both individual and collective growth. Under the guidance of Coach Steve Kerr, who has always prioritized player development and building trust, Sotto could refine his game and reach a new level, both offensively and defensively. The Warriors system has always stood out for its fluidity, constant movement, and collective play. The team's philosophy is based on floor spacing and active participation from all players in plays, which fits well with Sotto's playing style. With his versatility and tactical intelligence, he could add new possibilities to the team's scheme, strengthening the group even more. Defensively, Sotto's ability to protect the rim and dominate rebounds could be a key differentiator. He has the potential to become a modern center who not only defends effectively, but also contributes offensively, particularly with mid-range shots. Few players in his position have this combination of skills, and it could give the Warriors a new dynamic, keeping the team competitive and unpredictable for their opponents. Another important point is Sotto's adaptability. The Warriors have always required their players to be versatile, and he fits this profile perfectly. In addition to acting as a rim protector, could be a playmaker, helping in the offensive transition and offering new options for the team to explore. One of the greatest advantages for in joining the Warriors would be the chance to play alongside basketball legends like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. The presence of these veterans on the roster would provide invaluable experience for the young player, who could absorb knowledge and learn directly from two of the most intelligent and strategic players in the league. Curry, globally recognized as one of the greatest shooters in history, is an example of dedication and constant evolution. Having the opportunity to play alongside him would allow Sotto to improve his game reading and further develop his decision-making ability on the court. On the other hand, Draymond Green's leadership and basketball IQ could be pivotal for Kai's growth. Green is known for his game vision and defensive skills, and his mentorship could help Sotto adapt to the NBA's physical and intense playing style. With Green as a guide, could learn to use his height and wingspan as efficiently as possible, becoming an even more valuable asset for the team. Sotto's presence would not be limited to his impact on the court. The Golden State Warriors have always embraced diversity and inclusion, reflecting the multicultural spirit of Silicon Valley. The arrival of a highly projected Filipino player would further strengthen this identity and create an even deeper bond with the Filipino community, which already has a strong presence in the Bay Area. Additionally, the franchise could leverage this connection to promote social and cultural initiatives, organizing special events and actions aimed at engaging Filipino fans. This would not only strengthen the relationship between the team and its fans, but also expand the NBA's global presence, reinforcing the cultural impact of basketball worldwide. On the commercial side, the potential signing of Sotto would bring significant impact. His popularity would drive brands and sponsors to show even greater interest in the Warriors, capitalizing on the visibility he would bring, especially in the Asian market. Sales of official products, such as jerseys and other items related to the player, would experience a major boost, further increasing the team's revenue. The commercial impact would extend to TV broadcasts, advertising deals, and even strategic partnerships to strengthen the Warriors' presence in one of the fastest-growing sports markets in the world. The NBA has always been a league known for its ability to reach global audiences, and Sotto's arrival at the Golden State Warriors could further intensify this expansion. He wouldn't just be another player on the roster, but a symbol of a new phase for the franchise, one that seeks to reinforce its international presence and conquer new audiences. His signing would not only be a commercial move, but also an opportunity to add talent and versatility to the team. Steve Kerr would have the mission of adapting the team's tactical scheme to integrate a center with Sotto's characteristics, making the most of his qualities within a system that values movement, collectivity, and basketball intelligence. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details of the next news. Your support is crucial for us to continue bringing everything about our team. See you in the next video.